over there. Which one do you want? I'm looking for 9 or 10. I can't remember. It's the one southern and.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1:32, and we are going to get started.
I know. It's the artistry. It's 8, 9, or 10. It's one of those. Saxon's was with us.
Yeah.
No, that's after. It'll be after.
So we completed item 4 before we left. We have postponed item 5, so we will move on to item 6.
So item number 6 is a modification to the ULDC, specifically Article 5 for our workforce housing program. The board directed us to do some modifications on December 10th. Last month, we presented the proposed changes for requests for permission to advertise. So before you is the final adoption. Do you want any additional presentations? We've made no changes since it was done for permission to advertise last month.
I have a motion to approve the item. I have a second by Commissioner Weiss. Are there any cards? No cards. All in favor say aye. Any opposed? Please see that that motion carries 7-0. Thank you so much. Moving on to item 7.
So item number 7 is also a modification to the Unified Land Development Code. Before you is a privately proposed revision. Privately proposed revisions are done in 2 phases. So this is phase 1, where the applicant is seeking the board to initiate discussion further with staff to move on to phase 2 on our analysis. So I can turn it over to the applicant to summarize what their request is for proposal.
I assume that is for Ms. Morton. We have multiple cards, so unless there is some objection, we will give at least 1 minute for those going forward. Do you want to do 2? You're asking for 2. Okay, we can do 2.
Well, good afternoon. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, County Commissioners. For the record, my name is Jennifer Morton with J. Morton Planning and Landscape Architecture, and I'm here today representing the applicant, BC Commerce. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for giving me time to present this, and I especially want to thank Commissioner Sachs for all the time that she spent working with me, speaking with me and with John Channing, and even working on our birthday. So we really appreciate that and appreciate those efforts. I also want to say at the beginning, if there turns out to be another path that would accomplish what we need in a timely manner, we're open, we're nimble, we can adjust. That being said, getting into our specific request, this is very narrow. We are asking the board to initiate phase 2 of a text amendment that applies only to the commerce future land use category and is a simple increase from the fitness center cap to go from 20% to 35%. Fitness uses are already allowed in the commerce land use designation. This is just a request to change the cap. This is from the Unified Land Development Code. Right now, it's just a sentence that would modify the cap to go from 20% to 35% for the fitness center use. And I always think when you're looking at code changes and looking at modifying regulations, taking a look to see how that affects a real project in real time is important. Our client is BC Commerce. So if you look at our approved site plan, this is a typical light industrial project. It is on 47 acres and it's currently approved for 661,611 square feet. And this is a drone shot of the project under construction. And I love this shot because it really shows the quality of the architecture, the entry feature design, the added detail that has been provided for this project, to this project. And I think when it is completed will be a real gathering place for the residents that live in this area. And the important thing I want to mention is that the project is under construction now. They've built all the buildings. The leasing activity is happening now, and the businesses are looking at spaces that are looking at this space need certainty now, which is why we're before you and which is why timing is so important. So this is not a speculative request. There is real interest in this project. As of now, the 20% has been taken up with 3 users. You can see from the graphic that they have signed leases from the Brook, American Twisters, and the Padel Club. If that additional 15% is granted, they are looking at providing leases to DBAT and Wellington Volleyball Academy. These are the kind of users that serve the family, the youth, and the residents in the area. This is real functional indoor recreational space, and it's perfect for the BC Commerce clientele. So why is this change needed? Because youth sports is continuing to grow. Modern indoor training and recreational concepts often need very tall interior clear heights. They need open floor plates, and they need specialized equipment areas. They are increasingly seeking out these light industrial type of buildings because the space provides the volume that they need and provides the structural characteristics that we need. The traditional commercial or retail space doesn't work for them physically nor financially. These are just some of the tenants. This is the Brook. The Brook will be the first indoor air-conditioned tennis facility in South Florida. The owners were here this morning, but had a prior commitment to for this afternoon, so they wrote their comments and are hoping to have them read into the record. You'll hear from American Twister. They're actually going to have their own building designed on the property. American Twisters has been around for 40 years, and we're proud to have them as a tenant. DBAT is a tenant that is hoping to be able to go into this space. With Canyon District Park right across the street, what a great opportunity for the kids that play baseball and softball at that facility to be able to have specialty batting practices and training. And then finally, the Wellington Volleyball Academy, also hoping to be able to lease space in this location, and you'll hear from representatives of the Wellington Volleyball Academy. One thing that we've worked really hard at doing, and we've always been encouraged to do, is to reach out to the community and gather support for these proposed amendments. We have support from both BARC as well as COBRA, and you're going to hear from the president of COBRA under the public comment. So in summary, staff has found that there is no inconsistency with the comprehensive plan or the ULDC and is recommending to initiate to phase 2. If initiated, we will be back before the board 2 more times. This project will, if initiated, will work with staff and come back with very specific language. And then it has a first reading and a second reading. It's our goal to be back sometime mid-summer, which is in about 4 months, but again, we'll work with staff. Timing is our critical path item. Because this project is under construction, because leasing is active, and because these tenants need certainty, we respectfully request the board proceed today and approve the initiation. Thank you.
Thank you. Wendy, you said we don't have a staff presentation? Or do we?
We could if you want one. Yes,
Was there anything not covered in this presentation?
it's
No,
covered.
it was covered? Okay, good. We are going to take comment cards first. So Commissioner Flores, if you'd please call up the first few names.
All right, so we have two podiums. Please come forward, line up so that this is a little bit more efficient. We have 2 minutes. I have Jason Block, Jessica Odom, Nestor Garrido, John Channing, Clayton. Oh, Clayton Kent. Don't all rush at once.
Am I good to go? Okay. Thank you all. I appreciate you guys hearing from us. My name is Jessie Odom, and I have the privilege of coaching with Wellington Volleyball Academy for the past 2 seasons. For the record, I'm also their realtor representing them. For 10 years, our club has invested in our community through volleyball, but it's so much more than that. It teaches these young athletes the value of teamwork, hard work, and discipline. For 10 years, we have served in multiple locations throughout Palm Beach County, hosting clinics and travel practices at various middle schools and church gyms. And with this fitness allocation raised to 35%, we will be able to provide our athletes with a permanent home where they can flourish, continue to grow in their athleticism, and become the confident leaders of our community that we know that they can be. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Next up.
Come on, don't be shy. We got Jason Block, Nestor Garrido, John Channing, Clayton Kent, Michael Slolum. Come on, everybody, come on up.
Good afternoon, members of the board. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today to express my support for the amendment to increase the permitted fitness center use at the district. My name is Clayton Kent. I'm the managing partner of Twisters Gymnastics, which is celebrating its 40th year in business this year. Twisters has consistently been one of the most successful gymnastics clubs in the United States in terms of our success on the competitive floor and also for the number of Division I NCAA college athletes that we have produced from our program. We have over 80 and counting. Twisters is planning to open its 3rd location in the district. Our other 2 locations currently serve over 2,000 families in Boca Raton and Coconut Creek. The neighborhoods surrounding the district are booming with growth, and young families are eager for access to facilities like Twisters and the other sports being considered for fitness use in the district. We currently have about 500 families on our waiting list for our upcoming Boynton Beach location. Expanding the percentage of fitness use in the district will allow for a greater variety of sports offerings like volleyball, basketball for our residents. It'll also cater to more interests and age groups. It'll make it easier and more convenient for residents to incorporate physical activity into their daily lives, and it establishes vital community hubs that offer residents a safe space to connect and engage with one another that's centered around making healthy choices. The decision to increase the allowable fitness use could significantly impact our community's health, cohesion, and economic vitality for years to come. I urge the board to consider these long-term benefits when you vote on this amendment. Thank you.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon. My name is Zach Channing, and I'm part of the development group, Channing Corporation, who's building the project, the district. 4 years ago, we were here in front of you, and we came up with the concept, the district. And with the help of the commissioners, the neighbors, we listened to everyone, and we created a concept. And the most important part with the concept and with the commerce zoning district was fitness, and that's what the neighbors wanted. They wanted things to do. And living out west, whenever they need to go to gymnastics or anything, they have to drive out east. So back then, we said we're going to deliver pickleball and we're going to find more fitness. And today, I'm proud to say that we filled up our fitness uses, which today we have the Brook, which is indoor tennis and pickleball, 79,000 square feet. We have American Twister, who just spoke, 21,000 square feet, and Padel, 27,000 square feet. We hit our 20% max, and we're asking you to raise the cap to 35% so we could bring in more fitness tenants for the neighbors and make this project truly one of the most special projects I've ever seen in South Florida. So if we could raise it, we could bring in DBAT and have indoor baseball. We could have Wellington volleyball and bring volleyball for the community, and hopefully more. So please today, we hope that you could vote for it. I'd rather put in fitness than more other commerce uses. I think it's a really great use for the neighbors. Thank you.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Mayor and County Commissioners. My name is Justin Wayne. I did put a card in, even though you didn't read my name out.
I haven't read all of them yet.
Okay, perfect. And I'm here to talk about including a new business to the area that would be a great fit for the district and for Boynton Beach. Personally, I've lived in this county for 26 years, ranging from Jupiter to West Palm to Boynton Beach, and now down in Boca Raton at the Oaks. Now with 2 children of my own, my wife and I are constantly searching for what and where we can have our children get involved in that allows the opportunity to grow in an environment that promotes health and fitness, as well as creating new and long-lasting relationships. And we've yet to find an indoor baseball softball academy that fosters that type of development. I spent the past 2.5 years searching for a good fit to bring this wonderful franchise to our communities. The franchise, DBAT, has developed over the past 25 years into one of the fastest growing indoor training facilities, currently around 165 open in the United States and over 200 worldwide. DBAT currently is the nation's leading baseball and softball training academy franchise. DBAT stands for Developing Beliefs, Attitudes, and Traditions. While the core demographic of the facilities range from 7 to 12-year-olds, the reality is some high school and professional prospects have trained at DBAT as well. This franchise, which is looking to add its first location in Palm Beach County, delivers a passionate relationship with its community, focusing on providing the youth of Boynton Beach and surrounding areas, boys, girls, and adults alike, an indoor facility that provides a family-friendly environment to host parties, attend camps, and participate in group and individual sports with life skills. I spent time playing sports at all levels, including Major League Baseball, and the ability to have good coaching and good facilities is second to none. It's our mission to provide a quality teaching environment with quality instruction to enhance the baseball and softball experience for all players at all levels. And yeah, thank you so much for your guys' time.
Thank you so much. Please go ahead.
Mayor Baxter, Vice Mayor Woodward, fellow county commissioners. For the record, my name is John Channing. I'm the co-managing partner with the Butters Group on this project. And last time I was here was August 24th, 2023, when 5 of you who are up there right now actually approved us unanimously. And we thank you for that. And the whole concept of what we're doing today is a lot of hard work that we did with working with Maria Sachs, Commissioner Sachs, and the neighbors. And we really worked hard to try and come up with a concept that is what everybody wanted. And I think we've done that. And in my 50 years of real estate development, I can't believe I'm so old, but I've never been part of a project that has earned such overwhelming support from the entire community. You know, this level of alignment is very rare, you know, and we're incredibly proud of what it represents. One of the main things that the residents in this part of Palm Beach County were asking is they wanted indoor air-conditioned recreation. That was one of the top things they wanted when we met with them. And we've given them that. So you've met some of the people here. Unfortunately, the tennis and pickleball group, she flew in from Chicago to speak today, actually, is not here. But they have a really cool facility they're going to be doing. And really, you know, one of the things that you all have to think about, can I get another second?
Well, we can ask questions. What else do you want us to think about?
What I want to say is this, is that the type of buildings that we're building are basically the only type of buildings that these type of amenities can use because of the height and the building. And the county is not going to be building any of these buildings. So the county cannot provide for the residents unless there are people, developers like us, that can build these type of buildings. So that's why it's so important, and that's why this whole concept of fitness and commerce was approved 7-0. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Was that our last card?
No. We have Clayton Kent. John just spoke. Jason Block. I have Christy Turdo, Michael Turdo, Dagmar, Braz, Christy, Turdo.
Christie has a card for you to read.
I think we got some duplicates here. Michael.
Those are non-speaking.
Oh, so that's why it's duplicate. Perfect.
Nobody's coming up.
Nobody's coming up?
Here I
And
am.
Barbara Roth.
And Barbara. Here I am again. Well, I really think we are making a very, very
Hold
nice
on
little
one
purse.
second. Please state your name for the
Oh,
record.
my name is Dagmar
Thank you.
Ross. Anyway, we were a little bit nervous about supporting commerce in the Ag Reserve, but we knew that the intersection of Boynton Beach Boulevard and the Turnpike was going to need a little bit more intensity. And I really, personally, I'm viewing this, I'm going to cry, as taking a pig's ear and making a really, really pretty little leather purse. We are so excited about these recreational uses coming into the area. It's good. My granddaughter, she's a part of the volleyball team. I have fought for parks in the West Boynton area for 35 years. I'm excited they're coming. I hope you approve.
Well, thank you. Barbara, please join us. Sorry, I'm still recovering.
I know, it's really so nice. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, again, Barbara Roth for Cobra, and John Channing, I'm older than you are, so, and I actually, believe it or not, my next life, I'm coming back as a shortstop. I coached my daughter's softball team, so whatever. Yes, we were concerned when commerce was first introduced, but even then, we knew there was going to be some percentage, and we liked this use, not only from our family communities, but also from the retirement communities in the area. Everybody wants people of all ages to have these opportunities. We continue to support it. In terms of communication with this particular developer and the developer's agent, they have been forthright, coming to us repeatedly as the market has changed. They've informed Cobra of what was available to them, who was interested in these buildings. So we understood the evolution of going from 20% to 35%. And we feel the children and the families going in and out of the facility will be safe. Everything will be well marked and controlled, and Cobra supports it. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you so much. Did anyone turn in a card that did not get a chance to speak? Please raise your hand. We are good. Thank you. They probably left. Commissioner Sachs, it is all yours.
Thank you. I'm just so pleased. I don't know what y'all folks had for lunch, but they have just changed completely. And I think that's great. That's a matter of record, that Cobra supports recreation. That's what we've been talking about all morning. And I'm so glad we took it at the very beginning. Because folks over here to my left, you've got all the folks over here at Cobra supporting recreation for our families, which is what we were talking about this morning. And I know we're going to have a lot more recreation. What my concern is this, and it's a big concern. What we've done with zoning, and as we have had in the Ag Reserve, and mostly for District 5, agriculture, residential, then we brought in commerce. And commerce was good. Commerce was good. We all thought it was good, brought in warehouses, distribution centers. We all thought we needed a lot of those, and all of a sudden, we don't need so many. I think you have some vacancies out there, and you need to fill them with recreation. Is that correct, Ms. Morton? I think we do, because that's what you said. We've got warehouses, and we need to fill these leases with what people want from Cobra, and y'all know this, we want recreation. So we're going to fill those bays with recreation, and I appreciate that. What we don't want, what we do not want, is we do not want children's recreation with warehouse distribution centers and a brewery. Cannot have it. Will not have it. I will never, ever, ever, and you know I'll know that, never vote for that. And no one should really mix little children at Twisters or gymnastics with a brewery and trucks coming right off the turnpike. So what I'd like to ask you, Ms. Morton, is this, because you've got commerce, and you did pretty well. We all voted for it. In fact, I brought it up. And I thought we needed more commerce, but I guess we can't fill those bays. So you tell me, if you could, and thank you for indulgence, Mayor. In Building E, it's industrial, and we have 62,913 square foot. Will that be recreation, or will that be distribution and storage? I can hand this to you if you'd like
I
it.
speak?
It's from you.
Can I speak?
No, I'm not asking you, sir. I'm asking your agent.
I don't think she
And
has
if-
those. She
if
doesn't
she
have
does
those
not know,
answers.
Ms.
I have
Morton,
those
do you,
answers
sir,
as a
just one
developer.
second. Do you know? Otherwise, you could pass it to someone else.
I think Zach would be much better at being able to talk about the tenants than.
But you know what is going on in these various buildings that we approved 7-0 months ago. And is that distribution, which is commerce? Is that correct, Ms. Morton?
There is no distribution approved for this
So
project.
there's no storage, there's not going to be
no.
any trucks?
No, we do have self-storage approved for the site. but-
Self-storage is okay, but I'm talking about large bays, 98,436 square feet. That
So-
will not be for any type of distribution out of there.
No, distribution
That's
is
okay.
not allowed in the commerce land use category.
I'm sorry, but it is actually here, and you're right off of the turnpike. So what I would do is this, I will want to make sure, because this is initiation, that all we have there, first of all, it's no beer hall. And you got a nice picture here. I kind of like it, I wouldn't mind going there myself, but not if my kids are going to be there, or I'm going to pick them up late at night. You got a nice tap room there, beer hall. I would go along with more recreation. I think it's a great idea, and I'm so glad everybody wants it, because we need it. We need it, and I love especially the baseball one. But no beer hall. And all these bays, the pictures that you show in this nice shiny sheet here, there won't be any trucks. It'll only be for self-storage. And I'm looking at our staff here, is that correct?
And Wendy, to clarify, is it all it's all at grade? There's no loading docks?
There are loading docks. It's approved with warehouse and
Warehouse?
fitness center and self-service storage.
Okay.
Distribution is a different use than warehouse, and it's prohibited in the commerce future land use.
Thank you.
But to say there won't be trucks there, I can't say, because it is approved for warehouses. So warehouses, they would have trucks there.
So what I'm opposed to, colleagues, is to have entertainment, recreation for children, which I think is wonderful, and that's what I want. I want more of. But not mixed in with commerce warehouse, which is, I'm looking at it, storage and distribution centers from our code. But let's say we won't have distribution, we'll just have trucks going in there and storing things and then removing them afterwards, and a tap room. So, because I don't think it mixes. If they want recreation, I am all for it, because this is what I wanted from the very beginning.
Just to clarify, Commissioner, they're already allowed up to 20%.
20%. I go for 20%, but not to raise it to 35% and keep the warehouses and the tap room. Because now we got twisters, we got gymnastics, wonderful. We got this great indoor baseball thing, which is great. And Wendy, what's across the street from this area?
Proposed across the
No,
street.
what is existing right now across Boynton Beach Boulevard?
I believe it's ag right now, but
No,
it
let
has
me
an
tell you, 'cause
approval.
I
It
don't
has
wanna-
an approval for
I
a
don't
CLF
want any
and a
trick questions.
multifamily.
There's an elementary school that I opened with my good friends at Cobra, Canyons, elementary school, middle school, and high school. And they want to participate in your recreation, Mr. Channing. They love it. But I don't want kids getting out at 7, 8 o'clock at night and in a big area how many acres is it, Ms. Morton?
47 acres.
47 acres on the turnpike, dark. Kids getting out of just, twisters and gymnastics when we've got also warehouses and a tap room or beer hall or whatever. So I would recommend that we wait until we get back from our Ag Reserve review and see how much recreation we can put everywhere. Because this is first initiation anyways. This is the first step. But it's important. And yes, we need recreation. And I'm so glad y'all stayed until after lunch to reaffirm that. Because what y'all put in there is beautiful. Our kids want it, but not next to a tap room, which is advertised with the district right there. There's a district. You got the beer, you got the warehouses, you got a lady playing tennis, and you got like a little, how many rooms is that beer hall gonna have? 125?
So actually, the one of the things that we've spoken with Cobra about is the brewery. We actually, our client went after trying to get a brewery for this facility, but that industry has kind of declined.
So you're going to delete?
So we do not
no
have
more,
a brewery.
No brewery. So that's going to be out in the application. Is that true, Mrs. Morton?
No
brewery.
Right. We have an approval for a brewery, but we don't have any brewery tenants.
But how many seats were you going to have in that brewery?
I don't think it
was
was
about
undetermined.
125. You have it here in your, yeah. Just a second, sir. You've not been recognized. Take it easy. So you don't know how many seats you've been approved for? No.
No, I
Do you know, Mr. Channing, how many seats in that brewery you were approved for?
We never had a brewery.
Yes, you did. You advertised for one, and it's in the application.
I was looking for
It was a tap room.
We were looking for one. We were approved for one. We never got one. And since we don't have one, we're able to get more fitness because of the traffic and the parking spaces.
Will you then agree today to delete it?
Sure. Yes.
Good. Okay.
I don't need a
The
brewery.
brewery is out. Brewery is out. This is a little confusing here.
She wants to.
I don't know if we have a brewery. You're across the street from a school. You got storage, warehouse, but no trucks.
Jennifer, would the applicant agree to delete that as a condition of approval?
It was part of our zoning application. We would have to go
All the way back for it, so yeah. No, okay, so there's not really any way to do that today, but they're just asking for more fitness.
Right.
Today.
And I agree that we should have more fitness. But I do not agree that we should keep the fitness in the original application, which was fine. I was the one who made the motion. Because I think that it was fine with all those warehouses and distribution now, But I did not agree to more than 20%. The code says 20.
Commissioner Sacks,
Keep it
we
at
have
20.
2 lights, and then we'll come back to you. Vice Mayor Woodward, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple of questions, probably for staff or the applicant at this point. The timing of the process of what we're doing right now, this is the first step. Just walk me through what happens after this if you were to get approval to move forward. What's the next several stages before this would be completed?
I'll let Wendy answer.
Okay, so if the board initiates this, the applicant comes back and meets with us further. Staff does a lot more research on what the ramifications are on that proposed amendment, coordinating with the different divisions and departments on that proposed amendment, and then drafting the proposed language that would come before the board in phase 2.
Okay, so some of what is being discussed right now would be a part of what happens after today and before it comes back to us. This is the time you and staff could work together.
Right.
Am I understanding?
Taking into account, some of the things that Commissioner Sacks has said is, if they're going above the 20% threshold, then, either as a distance or a restriction on having manufacturing there or in a proximity. So, I'm taking the comments that you're saying to see how we would work through language on
Okay.
that.
which kind of, before Commissioner Sachs has started, I wrote a couple of questions that I was curious about on this, because I don't recall of us putting a percentage on a use on anything else in commerce. Why do we have a cap on this particular use, and do we have it on any other uses?
We don't have it on any other uses. I don't know if you probably know, yeah.
Sure. So we worked closely with staff, and one of the concerns was that an LA Fitness would come in and buy a building and put in an LA Fitness instead of, which is a commercial type use, versus the bays that these fitness center users utilize. So when we first started, we had, I think it went anywhere from 50% of a building could be a fitness center use to, we said, well, let's just take the overall square footage, and we came up with 20%. We actually, it was our client that said, I can live with 20%. So.
Okay, well, I guess I'm just wondering, this is something it feels that the market would sort of take care of. If we've heard that there's other vacant properties in the Ag Reserve that can't find a tenant. And in this case, you have an abundance of tenants for this and a desire to have it. As was mentioned, every organization that's in this area is on board with this and wants it. And there's a number of different sports that, people who have children, you have 3 kids, and the 3 kids are in 3 different sports. And it seems like this is the type of place where, I'm wondering, why are we going from 20 to 35? Why are we doing a percentage at all on this? If the market would take care of it, the buildings are built, so we're not going to have the potential for this LA Fitness building to be in the middle of it. It's built.
Correct.
So why are we putting a percentage on the use instead of just having, if you have the tenants, put them in there?
I think we can look at that. Commerce is an industrial future land use, so it's supposed to, part of the, we can jump in, but it's one of those, the language in the plan talks about it being a low generating traffic use, and majority being the industrial use. So when you start introducing fitness center, which is not an industrial use, we have to evaluate the number and whether it changes the definition of commerce that we were having earlier in the day of maybe introducing more things than industrial.
Well, if I could just be, our Mayor Baxter and I were elected together, and I believe our first planning and zoning meeting was the first applicants for commerce coming in, and it had just been decided by the rest of this board just before, so it was just created. And I'm seems like we're still young enough into this commerce designation that we could tweak it to. We have this, and the community wants it. My request would be this moves forward, and I hope it does, to work on, do we even need this percentage? It's built out. This is specifically for this property. And if you have it.
It's not just for this property.
It's for the entire county, anything.
It's for
Anything
commerce.
that has commerce.
So by doing it this way, you've already kind of fixed it to where it couldn't, which I'm not sure why LA Fitness was the one that's a big no-no. I was a member for many years. I loved it, but whatever. I'm just, if it's already kind of been baked in on how this was built, I don't like us capping the percentage of the use, because the market's going to dictate what the use is. And it could change over years, and it becomes something else because, some of these don't work. So that's the part. I would rather have an open market decide who moves in there. Thank you.
Commissioner Weiss.
Thank you, Mayor. So thank you, Vice Mayor, your questions regarding the process, because that's really the question in front of us today. But to Commissioner Sachs, her concerns, I have to say, they are valid. When you think about having warehouses and trucks and, pedestrians, it can be problematic. But I've had discussions with the applicant about this, And they understand that there is, that is a potential conflict, point of conflict. And so I leave it to staff to work out how you ensure that we don't end up, with trucks, big trucks driving around where there are pedestrians wandering around, because it's not safe. And so Commissioner Sachs is right to be concerned about that. I personally, and it's not, again, not in front of us, I mean, as it relates to a place for parents to go and wait for their kids, or, I don't have a problem for that either. I think it's that way they don't have to drop off the kids, go home, come back, pick up the kids, go back home. They go, they stay, and that's less trips on the road potentially. But if there's no, and I've seen breweries in my neighborhood go out of business as well. So, but I think this is a good thing. Anything that helps keep people healthy, keeps them in their neighborhood, is a good thing. And I know we're going to have more time to talk about this later. So I am supportive of allowing this to move forward today. To the volleyball people, I played indoor volleyball years and years ago. So you might want to think about maybe a senior volleyball league or something. So anyways, thank you.
Commissioner Marino, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. As a multi-letter athlete in high school, volleyball, softball, gymnastics, cheerleading, the one thing that was missing was a place to do this other than at school. This is the opportunity that these families are getting. And if you've got a mom who's got 3 daughters and they're doing 3 different sports, she doesn't have to get in her car and drive all over God's creation to bring one to one field, one to another field, and one to another place. We approved this. There were trucks there already. We approved this with trucks. Clarification for me, please. We are not talking 18-wheel trucks. I don't even think there's clearance for an 18-wheel truck to drive in there, is there?
Yes, there is.
That was not what I was told.
They can have trucks there, yes.
Semi-tractor
trailers or small trucks, yes.
Now, there's a difference between, okay, that's a great question. What is the circulation? And Jennifer, do you want to help answer that?
Sure, I'll go back to the site plan. There, you can see that it's not set up for semis and large tractor trailers. It's set up for your small bay guys, your AC guy that would have a box truck, an irrigation guy that would have a box truck, or a Sprinter van. But to be able for the trucks to be able to loop around, you need huge radiuses to get back into that truck bay area. And even our truck bays are set up more for a box truck.
So the basic answer, and this is what I'm asking a very specific question. We're talking about circulation. Is there room, because these folks that have these bays, whether an air conditioner or plumber or something, they're going to have to get stuff delivered, okay? Is it coming in a UPS truck? Is it coming in an Amazon truck? Or is it coming in an 18-wheeler that can circulate through there? That's my question.
So the answer to, for the record, my name is Zach Channing.
Thank you, Zach.
Something that's very important that has not been discussed, if you look at the site plan, you have the main access where the 2 smaller buildings are, and that's going to be for the pedestrians and people going to fitness. If you look at the left, there's a road there called Acme Dairy. Acme Dairy has a light, and we have 2 access points. Those access points go right into what's called the truck court. That's where it could be mostly it's gonna be box trucks or vans, but that's where they go. They go in and out only on that access off Acme Dairy. We leased our fitness all the way to the east, that's building A, the 2 buildings in the front, and then the rest of the 35% will be along the lake. Anything else is gonna be along Acme Dairy. We purposely separated fitness from the rest of the commerce. And we also purposely designed it so the vans, box trucks, I don't think we'll have, I can't make promises, but it's mostly going to be that because we are smaller industrial. They will only go in through Acme Dairy and out through Acme Dairy. The parking is on the other side. It's on a totally separate side of the building. They don't cross.
So what you're saying is if the kids are going from one side of one program on one side to another program on the other side, they're not going to come in contact with any
They will
kind of
not come in
18-wheel
contact
vehicle
with
if
any
it's
trucks
possible.
because the trucks stay in that little big square. I wish I had a mouse to show you, but oh, there is. How do I use this?
You have to hold it down. These are the top.
This one? It's a little hard to work. Sorry.
Where are you going?
Can you do it and I'll tell you where to go?
I'll hold it.
So show them where the areas are.
You know what? Go to the next slide, the one that has the build out, and we'll be able to
Better site
understand
plan.
it better.
Okay, the build out.
The aerial with the build out.
Yeah, you went the wrong direction.
The drone picture.
The drone shot.
Oh, okay, sorry.
There you go.
Oh, go one more. So that's the pedestrian. That's going to be pavers.
Not,
Trucks-
stop. Stop.
It just,
That one. Stop. Can you explain referencing this one so we have a better idea, please?
This is our main access point. It's going to be pavers, not asphalt. No trucks, no box trucks, no deliveries, nothing can go up here, only families. And we're designing it with extra landscaping, and we have some art that's going to be there. But that's where anyone who's coming for fitness, they come on Boynton Beach Boulevard, our main grand entrance. And then can you go to the aerial, the site plan?
Before you go off this one, go back.
Sorry.
can I go? I'm gonna back it once.
Go once. If there is ever to be a restaurant / whatever, where is it in
We're not
reference?
allowed to have that under commerce.
Okay,
We can't have
so-
restaurants, and like I said,
And you're getting rid of the tap room.
we never had one, and we won't have one because the demand is fitness, and that's what we're doing. We have a limit of how much parking that we could do, and that's why we came up with the 35%. We can't do 100%. 35 was picked because that's the amount of parking spaces we have for fitness, because fitness needs more parking than other industrial uses.
So to Commissioner Sachs's point, we're gonna have to worry about the kids and any kind of alcohol.
No.
Okay, now we're gonna go to the 18-wheel.
Yes. Can you go to the aerial?
Please show me where they would have access and how they will not come
That's
in
good.
conflict.
This is good. You see Acme Dairy Road on this? To the left of building HFGH?
Yep.
So Acme Dairy has a light there. It has
Mm-hmm.
an intersection. So that's where anything that's delivery or box trucks or vans, they go there. And the reason is, if you look between building F and E and in the middle of building G and H, those are where the deliveries go. There's no parking there for pedestrians, that's only for deliveries, and then the parking is on the other side of the building. So it's completely separate and they never cross. And the deliveries don't have to drive around the project because all they do is come in and out of Acme Dairy. It's a straight shot. And this was very, very thought out to keep it separate.
So if there is a truck coming in and they're on that road access that is going north-south,
Acme
and they're
Dairy?
delivering something,
Yes.
they're not pulling in, or they're stopping there, whatever it is that they're delivering, they're putting on a hand truck and walking it over. Because there's still access between those buildings. Now, but what you're saying is the doors of those buildings are on the other side, so there should be no kids playing in those areas anyway.
There is loading doors in the back for loading things, and people don't walk through there. And then the other side of the building, that's where the front door is. They're on two separate sides of the building.
So children coming into contact with a truck is very, very highly unlikely.
Yes.
Okay, I'm done.
Commissioner Flores, you're recognized.
Oh, no, wait, sorry. One more question. Manufacturing, where did that come from?
That was to accomplish a brewery.
Okay, so that's not there. Okay.
And This is a specific site, so I'm taking people's comments, your comments into account because Commerce has been approved another,
I'm sorry, we're just talking specifically this site.
this particular site, but.
Because
The
the word
use would-
manufacturing came up, and,
Right. But
you know.
I guess what I'm saying is that this proposed change would apply to any commerce in the county. So warehouses, this is allowing this increase in warehouse developments that
Could possibly
will
happen,
have
Aaron.
18-wheelers there. And in fact, I just looked at the approved plan. This has an approval. Building G in the back is site planned with 18-wheelers. So to say that there isn't any, it isn't totally correct.
No,
So we will
the
be
comment
taking
wasn't
that
there
into-
wasn't,
yeah.
the comment wasn't there aren't any. The comment was where the conflict would be is not where children will be.
So that's what we will take into consideration when we go through this code language right up.
Thank you.
So, if you know me, I'm a big proponent of youth sports and a place where they can go and be in a safe environment with their energies and focus being diverted from cell phones or doing something stupid out in the community. So, I would prefer to have our kids, being trained in sports. I know that Wellington Volleyball has been bouncing around from open gym to open gym that they can find. This sounds like this might be a permanent home for them and those girls rather than, well, girls and boys, I think. Traveling all over the county, figuring out where this practice is going to be. And so with that being said, I'm in favor of this. I don't understand why there's a cap. I'm a firm believer in letting the market sort itself out, and government should probably not get too much in the way of some of that stuff. And I think we're getting in the way right now. And I'm also a big proponent of keeping our children safe. However, as a father, I've taken my daughters and my son to a bunch of events or places that are similar to this in a warehouse. And I think the hardest part for us there was parking. It seems like as you look around, there's plenty of parking from what I saw on the site plan. So most of the times parents, and particularly here, are dropping the kids right at the door, picking them up right at the door. That's what I see. That's what I've experienced. I don't know that the kids are going to be walking somewhere from here. I think parents are probably dropping them off to their hour and a half, 2-hour practice, come right back, pick them up, they go away. And then the comments of truck drivers. Actually, truck drivers are one of the safer drivers out there. And I think sometimes I know they're driving a big, heavy equipment, but, they do this for a living, so they know exactly what they're doing. Especially 18-wheelers are one of the more safer drivers out there. And how do I know that is because in the military I used to drive 18-wheelers, so I have that experience. I know the training that it goes to, how you're constantly checking your mirrors and making sure of your surroundings and your clearance. So I don't know that the two of them don't mix, and the way that this is set up where the interior part is actually where the trucks go. That's sort of their distribution point. It's designed so that the surrounding areas is for the client. And my last comment is that, I usually like to back up my district commissioners, and I've sort of been a stickler on that because I feel like they know their district best. And I feel like I've done that. I've gone against them twice today, but I feel like my record's going down the drain. But when I feel something is legitimately the right thing, I'm gonna do that for the residents. And that particular neighborhood, I know it fairly well. So I think this is probably the right thing to do. And keep in mind that this is already approved. It's an approved use. What we're asking to do is increase 15% more. So I'm okay with it.
Commissioner Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. A couple things. Well, first, let's get into this. Jennifer, the brewery conversation. Commissioner Sachs started asking quite a few questions with regard to a brewery. And my understanding is that the brewery business is on decline, but I know breweries, I keep saying brewery, can have, they have events like concerts at breweries. Would that be something that if this brewery that's currently approved were to be developed or constructed, that they could have concerts? And I know the application is not about breweries, but I just want to know that question. I have a question.
Yeah.
Ponder, I'd like to know.
You know, it wasn't contemplated, so we don't have a brewery. We don't have any, you know, we haven't designed for one, so I don't foresee that in the future.
Okay. All right. Just inquiring minds want to know. Here's an additional question for staff, perhaps. There was an indication that a gym or what did we talk about? LA Fitness? An LA Fitness would not be allowed to go into an area like this. And Commissioner Marino, you know, talked about her athletic background, which lends to being able to participate in these facilities that will be developed. You know, there was a time in my life, and I still work out, but I used to be RTS. And when I was RTS, I was going to rip to shreds. Thanks for asking. But seriously, my question is, with regard to a gym and a fitness center, as I look in the definition of in the ULDC of a fitness center, it says, definition 1, an establishment containing multi-use facilities for conducting individuals or group recreational sport activities. And B, typical sports activities may include, but are not limited to, aerobic exercises, weightlifting, running, swimming, racquetball, pickleball, gymnastics, dance studios. So we're saying that LA Fitness couldn't go here, but what about Crunch? Because Crunch does a lot of this. I don't know what LA Fitness does, but would they be able to go in this? And what prevents a gymnasium?
Right now, nothing would prevent LA Fitness or Crunch. It falls under the heading of fitness center, so.
Forgive me, Wendy, but aren't they considered commercial?
No, it's under the fitness center category.
LA Fitness and Crunch are?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
So, which leads me to my next point here. We're looking at a privately initiated text amendment for the commerce land use. The commerce land use, although it's privately initiated, we decided to focus today on one particular site plan. There are, from my understanding, at least 7 other commerce uses within Palm Beach County. And there could be more if there's land use changes and rezonings or whatever that would allow that. We've focused on a particular site plan today. Does this increase, which 15%, right now they're allowed 20%, this is the conversation you and I had in the office, Jennifer, and we talked about 15% to 35%, which is almost double, but going, you know, what's needed. How do we know that 35% is what's needed? Why not 40, but why not even more? The question I have is, and it boils that back down to, and I guess it was just explained, I wanted to make sure that those individuals who are interested in becoming RTS or staying RTS are able to participate. So it looks like, if not in this particular area because it's limited by site plan, the other areas that are in the commerce land use, they possibly could come in and do a Crunch or a LA Fitness or any other big box type gym. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So I just want to point those things out. I mean, I don't have a problem with the idea, but I did want to make sure we're clear that it's possible, according to the definition, that a UFit, LA Fitness, Crunch, Gold's Gym, I don't want to leave anybody out because just in case they want to sponsor our commission meetings. RTS gyms are able to participate. Those are just my comments and questions. If anybody else want to opine on that particular area.
Commissioner Sachs, you're recognized.
I'm learning more about fitness than I've known before. That's really cool, Bob. Commissioner Powell. I think what we have here is a really interesting discussion on how we need more recreation spots for all of us and for children, and a place for them, for families to go and drop off all the kids, right? I think it's a great idea. Thank you for bringing this up at Channing's, because what we have, and I'm looking back at the August 2023 when you first came up, and I'm looking at our discussion because I'm the one who brought this to the motion, and it was Commissioner Marino who seconded it. So we're on the same page here. And I want to go back to that discussion. We were talking about not just a brewery, and you were going to come back with some more information, Ms. Jones, and that was about a restaurant there and a place where, and somebody brought it up, you could drop your kids off, get a bite to eat. I know that I used to do that with my kids as well. And you recommended not just a brewery, but also a place where people could come as a restaurant. And I'd like to do this. This is up for first initiation, and I'm going to agree with it. Because I think we need to review the discussion that we had today, and not just a tap hall, a brewery, but a place where we can serve food, at least to review it, initiate it. And then that way, and what we said here is potential for additional commercial uses, including a farm-to-table restaurant. That was exactly from page 2 of our discussion here on the board on the very first time that you came. So I would certainly ask the staff to review that possibility, and that way it's not just a beer hall. I would also ask the staff to look into, when we talk about how much need we have and all the folks here who are ready to start these great places for sports, that some of the warehouses, and I know Zach Channing, come on up here, Zach, I'm going to ask you. You got all these buildings, and I've got all the square footage. I'm not going to go over them. You know them by heart. Can we not review staff, and I know you'd go along with this, to use some of those buildings for some of this great recreation? Because I think this is what we need more of, less warehouse space, more recreation. Because we only have those 2 little buildings there in the front that has, is that true? Or
No, if you can pull up the slide that has the colored site plan with the, no. Yep.
2 little buildings in the front.
And then all the other orange ones to the side are all fitness
And all the
as
one
well.
on the side?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. And over here on the right, I'm not going to touch that. Your dad will get upset. That's that building over there in the corner, Mr. Channing. We'll leave that one alone. But the purple ones are also sports. Now, how, staff, are you going to let these folks know that they can't have those 18-wheelers with mixing in with families? Is there a way you can do that?
We have to look at it, so that's
Okay.
why we need
That's
to
fair.
look at it during the phase 2 if
Needs
you
some work.
initiate it. Yes.
And I agree with my colleagues. Separate the 2. If we can do that, if y'all can do that in your professionalism, that's good. Because that way, we have more need for these folks to do their recreation. We'll keep that little white spot there in the corner, Mr. Channing, sacred. We won't touch that.
Thank you.
And then they want the truck bays in the back. Work on it, see what we can do to satisfy everybody's request for that, and this is the first initiation. And that would satisfy me.
Okay,
I
Vice-
think it kind of brings everybody in. Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Woodward, you're recognized.
Thank you. Just to sort of wrap this up, but also to be clear, the changes we're looking at making are not just for this site specific, right?
Yes, this is a Unified Land Development Code amendment for fitness center.
In industrial.
And they narrowed it down specifically to the commerce future land use designation, which can happen anywhere in the county.
Okay, well, again, I would like to reiterate, I don't like the 35%. I know it works for this one because of specific parking requirements, but there are other areas where parking might not be an issue. So with that, I would like, if we could, to go ahead and make the motion. What is the motion? To initiate?
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, I didn't hear you. Did you say that this would only be for this one?
No, this is countywide.
Countywide. So countywide, what are we doing with the 35%? I like to put 50%, tell you the truth.
I was hoping not to put a cap on it because I think the property itself would dictate it. This property dictates 35% because of parking, but another one may have ample parking
I think
and no
they-
trucks.
They
So-
raised it from 20 to 35 because it couldn't fill the bays.
Well, and they said they can't go more than 35 because
more
of parking.
marketable.
Hold
This-
on,
right?
hold on. Are we allowed to today expand further upon the applicant's request, or do we have to stick to what's before us and come back later if we want to go above 35%?
I would say yes, you can, because we still have to complete our research, so yes,
You
you've
can give
given
direction to
us.
staff.
To initiate it, and then it still comes back to us, so if we need
Yeah.
to limit it, then we can.
Correct.
I've heard at least 3, if not 4 members say they wanted more than the 35%. So can we just, okay, so let's up to 100% and bring it back to us, and if we need to limit it at that point?
Yes.
we
That's my
can-
motion.
Okay, so limit it up to 100%. So I have a motion by Vice Mayor Woodward, a second by Commissioner Sacks. All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. All opposed? Please see the motion carry 7-0. Thank you. Oh, and also, we do have 44 emails in support of this item to be filed with the clerk, please. We are going to move on to item number 8.
Ready? Yes, Commissioner Kashid Mohammedan will
We
be
do not
presenting this.
need, sorry, Twee, I can't hear you. Please check your mic. But we do not need disclosures on number 8. We do have one speaking card, and we will turn it over to staff for a presentation.
Commissioner, I will be very brief. The item in front of you is an interlocal agreement for enclave annexation into city of Boynton Beach. This one is part of the original study, which was about 2 years ago for 4,500 acres and about 35,000 people by Boynton Beach. However, Boynton Beach then came last year with Palmyra and Bamboo Lane voluntary annexation request to the interlocal agreements, to the water agreements. That we presented to this board, and board objected to it, and directed the Water Utilities Department to evaluate feasibility of acquiring Boynton Beach utilities. Then we had also Boynton Beach came in with interlocal agreement idea for this enclave area. We circulated it for the department review and found it no inconsistency with the state statutes. We also send courtesy letters to the 15 property owners. We received 14 oppositions. This 4.6 acre area, about a mile south of Woolbright Road, will not become part of the Boynton Beach unless this board approves this interlocal agreement today. Staff is recommending approval, and with this, we are happy to answer any questions.
I will entertain a motion to approve. Okay.
We have-
Vice, oh yeah, we do have one card, sorry.
Yep, I got Michael Slolum.
Maybe it's worth, are you going to listen, or?
Yeah, of course.
My name's Mike Slocum. I bought a property on Bamboo Lane about 5.5 years ago. In the last 5.5 years, I've subdivided the property. I've built seawalls. I've built 2 houses. One is for sale, one I'm going to live in when it's finished in a few months. I've invested over $15 million in these 2 lots. I bought this property 5.5 years ago with zero understanding that another city could just say, oh, we'd like to annex you. All of the homeowners have been opposed to this. The one that didn't respond thinks that she's going to have to pay millions back to the city of Boynton Beach for hooking up to her water 10 years ago. I don't know who told her that, but that's her understanding. She's elderly, and that's why I didn't have 100%. I went back and looked at that same presentation that you just put up there. I didn't see anything in that presentation that said, here are the advantages for the homeowners. It was all about, here's how much more money Boynton Beach could get in taxes. And to me, that's unfair. I didn't think I was buying a property that was in Boynton Beach. By the way, Boynton Beach properties are on average about 10% less in value, comparable properties. And their property tax millage rate is the 4th highest of some 75 different taxing districts in Palm Beach County. So as homeowners, we get no advantages, no benefits, higher taxes, and lower property values. So I'm here to say, I think it's unfair. They started out with 4,600 acres. Now they're down to 4 acres. Why are 4 acres? Because they can get more taxes out of us. And I think it's unfair. And I would hope that you won't sanction this sort of money grab by some of these cities. I've tried to talk to the mayor, and, well, anyways, my time's up, but
Thank you
happy to answer questions.
so much. Attorney, what if we do, let's say we don't agree to this, what happens?
Well, so if you don't agree to this, the city has a couple of options. They could try to get the legislature to redraw the boundaries, or they could try to get the consent from the landowners to annex.
And then would it go on a ballot and let them decide?
It could, yeah.
I like that. Vice Mayor Woodward, this is your district. You're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for coming to visit. We had a good visit a little while ago, and thank you to this board also for postponing last month while I was out with the flu. I do apologize about that. But I did receive, and I think we have it was all but one of the landowners opposing this. And this board on a number of times has been faced with annexations, and I've always voted with the board when it's come to giving the voters a voice. There's a number of different types of annexations, and I don't like them ever being forced on constituents unless you were outvoted by your neighbors. That's a different story. But I would like to oppose this and have you have an official vote of some sort, have it move forward in that way. So if we could just let the city of Boynton know if the board is supportive of that, because again.
Are you making a motion to deny?
I would be making a motion to deny.
Second.
Okay, we have 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So I have a motion by Vice Mayor Woodward. I will give the second to Commissioner Flores. But before we take that vote, we will hear from Commissioner Marino.
Many of us have areas in our districts that are unincorporated, or Commissioner Sachs doesn't even know what having a municipality is in her district, but there are what would be considered enclaves up in Palm Beach Gardens also, and in the north end of the county. And the homeowners just did not want to be part of any municipality. They wanted to stay in the unincorporated areas. The moves have been made over and over again. But as you said, you've got 15, is that what you said?
15 properties.
15 properties, 14 of which are adamantly opposed. Why are we forcing this? So
I don't think we are.
no, correct. So I think what you hear from the board is that we're uncomfortable with this, we don't like this. So thank you for coming today.
Yeah, thank you.
And to answer your question, we do listen. All in
It was
favor of the
worthwhile waiting
motion?
for 5 hours so I could speak. Thank you.
Of course. All in favor of the motion? Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 7-0 to deny.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Moving on to another annexation or inter-service boundary agreement, number 9.
Yes, Mayor. This is Artistry Lakes Annexation Conflict Resolution Process. Our attorney, Darren Leiser, can go through the legal stuff. I'm here for questions for planning and zoning items.
We do have cards. So let's hear from the cards first, unless you would like a staff presentation first. Do you mind if we hear? Yes. Okay, so County Attorney, if you would like to.
Sure, can you just bring up the map real quick? I think you passed it. There you go. So what we're here on today is a resolution to initiate conflict dispute resolution process with the City of Wellington. The property in yellow is Artistry Lakes. They went ahead and annexed the property through an ordinance that they adopted a couple weeks ago. And so we're discussing that property and then all the other properties in red in an interlocal service boundary agreement negotiation. However, if this property gets annexed, then they have jurisdiction over it and we lose the ability to essentially object and to get the certain concessions that we want out of the property developer. So we're doing this to essentially preserve those rights so that we can have an interlocal service boundary agreement that will preserve our ability to get the right-of-way and the civic parcel and the other issues that we're concerned about.
And I'm going to speak to this because it's my district, but it was my understanding that we only agreed to enter in negotiations. And it was my understanding, did they negotiate?
No, they're negotiating with us, yes. So Wellington initiated the interlocal service boundary agreement process, and we responded. And so, yeah, they're going to negotiate with us. They have been negotiating with us. So,
If they passed a resolution already to annex it, how is that negotiating?
yeah, well, I think it's two separate tracks, but I think, they're taking an aggressive approach, which is, I can't fault them for, right? But that's what they're doing. And so we're
And by doing this, are
response-
we robbing any future people, anyone from voting on this?
No, we're not. Nobody, there's only one landowner on there, and
And for-
they've already consented to the annexation.
But didn't we also say last time it doesn't meet the requirements of annexation?
That is what our objection is. So let's just say, in theory, if this was to go to a court hearing, our argument would be that this property is undeveloped and does not meet the statutory requirements for annexation.
Right. I'm not in agreement with this annexation, particularly it doesn't meet the requirements and it is undeveloped. It's just, this doesn't give anyone any benefit. So.
Well, I think it, possibly the developer sees some benefit in being annexed into Wellington.
So this is for the developers.
Well, I mean, obviously, the property owner has consented to it, so.
Okay, well, we do have cards.
Ready?
Yep.
All right. We have two podiums. Please come up forward so your name and address for the record. I have Tim Stillings, Alexandria Larson, Lori Cohen, and Sharon Waite.
Commissioner Powell and Marino, did you want to speak before or after cards? I'll wait. Okay. Okay.
Do they want to speak?
Nope, they said they will wait.
Somebody was named before me, I just don't know who.
Mr. Stillings was going to speak to this item, and unfortunately, he was called to testify at a court hearing. So my name is Laurie Cohen. I am the village attorney for the Village of Wellington. My address is 12300 Forest Hill Boulevard in Wellington. We do disagree with staff with respect to whether this property meets the requirements of the annexation. I don't have a lengthy presentation, but I will say we think that a dispute resolution at this point is premature. We're already engaged in discussing an interlocal services boundary agreement. We believe that that will be productive and fruitful. We share the same interests that the Commission does with respect to ensuring that there's an Okeechobee Boulevard extension. We also are in favor of having the civic site be used for, fire purposes or something of that nature. And I think that our interests are very much aligned in this. Unlike the previous annexation, this is not a situation in which the property owner or owners are opposed. This property owner is wants to come in, has consented to the annexation. And so we do believe that this meets all the requirements. I don't know that you need to take this action today. I think you can delay this, allow us the opportunity to have the discussion on the interlocal service boundary agreement, and then, if necessary, we can engage in this process at a future time. Thank you.
Please proceed.
I think just saying that you're for Okeechobee going through, you're not in our area. You're in Wellington. You're on the south side of Southern, and you should have stayed there. And that's my opinion. It's the way it is. The way that this was done, namby-pamby, again.
Please state your name for the record.
Alex Larson. If nobody doesn't know me by now, God help them, 30 years of this. But this seems like the way this is being done, I swear to God, I think the end game here in somebody's mind is this will get annexed and then the data center will be run by Wellington, not the county. The zoning and everything that's going to get done here. And the one thing, I'm sorry, I didn't bring something up. I want to give you guys something because I was in a magazine that I got the other day and it said data centers, the new problem, because over in Iran, they're bombing the data centers to take people out so they can't do anything. So I wanted that, but I think this is the thing that's coming our way.
And as much as I enjoy hearing you, can we try to stick to the annexation?
Well, I don't think this should be done. I don't think they should annex another inch. I think they should give back the lands that they annexed, anything north of Southern. It was done incorrectly. Your charter is to protect us. And I kind of believe in the charter. It's very small what is to cover us, your constituents. And, for them to even spit on that, which is what everybody did. Anyway, I wanted to give this to you, the article, commissioners. Do I give it to the?
You can hand it to the staff.
Well, it's here.
Okay, thank you.
Anyway, stop it. You need to stop because we're going down the same road we went down in 2004, and we all know where the outcomes came with some of the commissioners. So just keep it in mind, commissioners. We need to take a breath. All this annexation and power plants and everything that's out there doesn't belong there.
Thank you. Next up.
I guess I'm the last one. Hello. I agree with what everybody's been saying about this doesn't belong there. They should stay in Wellington. I don't want them on my side of the road. Makes a very bad precedent. Oh, and by the way, I'm Sharon Waite.
Thank you. Is that it for the cards?
May I add a card?
Okay.
Sorry. Good morning, or good afternoon, Ken Toom with Urban Design Studio. I did not intend to speak because this is a jurisdictional debate, but on behalf of Coulter Homes, I do need to say a few things for the record. Number one, we did consent to the annexation. That is absolutely correct. This is an involuntary annexation, but we did consent to it. Number two, the subject property has a Wellington address no matter what. If it's in the county or if it's in the village, it's going to have a Wellington address. When Coulter heard that, they thought it would be better for their residents, a better opportunity them to use Wellington services potentially. But let's talk about the two big topics that are here. There are a couple items that are very specific. I know they've been negotiating. Staff were not part of that, but those two topics are right of way. Today, sitting in the county engineer's office, we are going back and forth on a deed. We're prepared to give that deed as soon as it gets done. What we don't want to do, what I don't want to do, and have our client do, is get tied up in 6 months of discussion between two municipalities. Number two, in regards to the fire station site, Coulter is willing to dedicate that to the county, to the village, whoever wants it. We're willing to do that, and we're able to do that very soon. So the right-of-way is ready to be dedicated. The fire station can be dedicated any time, and that's my 2 cents. I just wanted to make sure that that was on the record. Thank you.
Mr. Tuma, did you reach out to Wellington to have this property annexed?
Wellington reached out to the developer.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, please, Commissioner Powell. Do you want to state that for the record?
No, I don't. Good afternoon, Mr. Tuma. The question I have is, you said it was an involuntary annexation. So an involuntary annexation, is that Wellington came to the property owner and requested that they volunteer that the property owner was not looking for this, but Wellington would have come to them to request to annex the property, is that correct?
Right. The way an involuntary annexation works is Chapter 171, and I don't know the actual statute number, but the way it works is the village approaches the developer, goes to the property owner, and then the property owner has to consent to the taking or annexation. And they did that.
Thank you. Then I have a question for staff, would be, Mr. Tuma, you indicated that two of the sticking points were right-of-way dedication and I guess a conveyance of land for
fire station.
Parcel for fire station. Are those, I don't know if that's for the attorney or is that for staff, but are those the sticking points? And if those are the sticking points,
We will also lose 54 workforce housing units. Currently, it is approved for 534 homes and 47,000 square foot non-residential, and those 534 includes 54 workforce housing units.
That's correct.
and the workforce units, those
Wellington,
that's a part of this negotiation as well?
yes,
Twee?
we are negotiating that.
Okay.
But we will lose that leverage of negotiation if board does not move forward with this today.
Okay. As a follow-up, is there opportunity, maybe not, I'm not familiar with this particular process, to do, I guess you couldn't do a condition, right? Because you have to move through this process in order to even put a condition related to that on it, because you lose.
We have only 30 days from March 10th to do this because of the timing. Statute allows us 30 days to start the conflict resolution process. So that's where we are in front of you today.
And what was the date that started, the 30 days?
March 10th, when they had the second hearing.
Thank you.
Follow-up question. Mr. Tuma indicated it would cost an additional 6 months. Is there a way that that process is expedited? How do we?
We are meeting with Wellington. We have already met after the ISBA also and have started discussing these items. We are, but services are involved, and we don't want to rush on anything until everything is resolved.
Right.
And that.
If I may add something. So if we're going to hopefully start the dispute resolution process. However, ideally, we would put it into abeyance while we negotiate these issues with the city of Wellington, so that we can come back with a holistic agreement that can resolve all these issues. So this.
But what if we ultimately don't want to have it annexed?
If we don't want to have it annexed, then for sure we need to start the process today, and then eventually we would file, we'd have to go through the dispute resolution process, and ultimately, if it was fruitless, we would have to go to court with it.
Okay, I believe Commissioner Marino was next.
Ken, could you come up a second? Right now on this property, there's a right-of-way, you were talking about deeding a right-of-way, dedication, a civic parcel. The civic parcel, I believe the county would like to protect, because this is where our fire station is going to go, and it's not, it's for the unincorporated areas that surround it, because we now have this, for lack of a better term, finger on the other side of the road.
Right.
You notice I was very graceful with that, by the way. But how does that get preserved? How does that get deeded? And is that a question for staff or our attorney?
So I can answer the right-of-way one for sure. Currently, we're working on the right-of-way deed. It's actually in the county, I believe it's in the county engineer's office, based on some negotiations we've been having regarding FPL easement. That is in the process of right now. I think they're waiting for the deed. Coulter will authorize that deed and make that dedication of Okeechobee Boulevard right away. In regards to the civic site, that's more between the two staffs on how you want to do it. I could tell you that Coulter is prepared to make that dedication for the fire station. But how it gets done, that's above my pay grade here.
I don't see this going anywhere without that civic site being dedicated to the county. Okay.
Well, that's day one conversation.
Thank you.
Mr. Tuma, also, the other issue that staff was having with regard to the 54 workforce housing units, what would be a resolution? Is there a resolution for the workforce housing? How does that work? And has that been something that's already been discussed? Where we at with that?
Yeah, so different municipality, different rules, right? So the village does not have a workforce housing ordinance, but the developer made a commitment to support, and I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to go to their attorney because I don't know what it's called. Developer made a commitment as part of the as part of the development order to dedicate money to their fund, which I believe is used to support residents of Wellington trying to buy houses.
To Wellington's funding.
Wellington is getting.
And only Wellington residents.
Correct. Now,
okay.
is there opportunities for more? There always is.
Thank you, Mr. Tuma. Commissioner Weiss, you're recognized.
Thank you. I like Attorney, thank you for clarifying that this would be put into abeyance to allow you to continue to negotiate. So I think
Well, that takes two to tango, so Wellington would have to agree to it as well.
They don't want to. I guess then they don't want to.
Oh, no, I think they probably would, because we're going to be negotiating with them. Okay. We'll see.
So a couple things. And one is it looks, and Commissioner Marino pointed it out, it looks like it creates an enclave in and of itself, which is what I thought we're supposed to try not to do.
Right.
Okay. So I have a challenge with that. And as we just discussed about the workforce housing, because my understanding is all the programs that Wellington has are only for Wellington residents, and that would not be acceptable because unfortunately it's West Palm Beach, Jupiter has a workforce housing requirement, and Palm Beach County. Then I'm not saying nobody else is concerned about it, I know they are, but they don't have inclusionary zoning requirements, and so I think that's, we're trying to create more of those, and so I have deep concerns about how that gets, if we're gonna negotiate, there's gotta be something better that benefits everybody in Palm Beach County. I think that's really important. And then, I'm okay to, and I think put it into abeyance, but we have to preserve our rights. We've done it before in other matters, and I think it's prudent on behalf of on behalf of everybody in Palm Beach County that we preserve our rights when we have to do that, and then we can work in good faith and try and see if we can resolve these things.
Pat, you're recognized.
Then thank you, Commissioner Weiss, because you stole my line of preserving our place in line. And that's what this is all about. It's not just this annexation per se. We reviewed it, do not find it to be consistent with 171. That could occur again, and we'd be bringing the same issue to this board. The piece that we would follow through is just this, the 164 in statute, the resolution process. To the question and Darren's point about abeyance, that would come in the form of, should the board initiate it and we get to that point, the first meeting as part of the process is between the two administrators of the respective local governments. By mutual agreement, we can extend that initial time. We would much rather, following the board's direction on the ISBA discussion, address all of these points in the ISBA and not even have to worry about that aspect. And hopefully those conversations would be fruitful and bring this home, put this issue to rest. It would need to be addressed. So there's a path where we would not need to fully engage in 164, but we can't lose our place in line. There's a timing mechanism that's in play. We have 30 days to respond. That's why we're asking the board for this direction.
Thank you. And I am going to support entering the conflict resolution, but I do have a question. They passed a resolution already for that annexation. Is that accurate?
That's correct. On March 12th, is it March 12th?
10th.
March 10th, yes. They passed it.
And what have we passed one saying we didn't want an involuntary annexation?
Well, we objected to it, and this is our,
Path forward to, okay. All right, so I will entertain a motion to approve entering the conflict resolution. I have a motion by Commissioner Weiss, a second by Commissioner Sacks. All in favor? Any opposed? Please say that motion carries 7-0. Thank you. We already did item number 10, so we will move on to item number 11.
Yes, Mayor, this is a request for the board to give us authorization to begin the comp plan text amendment initiation for, to look at further opportunities for farm workers housing in the Ag Reserve tier. This was prompted by the Cooperative Extension Department as well as the Ag Enhancement Council at their meeting on January 7th. With this, we will be working, with your approval, we can start working with the stakeholders and the ag industry.
had they done the voluntary annexation.
Thank you so much. Did you have a brief presentation you would like to go over? Okay.
Not unless you have questions.
We do have 3 cards. If you would please call them up, Commissioner Flores.
Alexander Larson, Mike Atchison, and Richard Bowman. You don't want to come up? Okay.
Mr. Atchison.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners. It's been a long day talking about the Ag Reserve again, and it's just I'm glad to see something that you guys are talking about for the farmers today, because, you know, that's kind of what the Ag Reserve was built around. So I hope you will see this go through and help the Ag Reserve and help the farmers that are out there. Thank you.
I believe the AEC commented on this as well. Were they in favor? The Ag Enhancement Council?
AEC was absolutely in favor, yes, ma'am.
Thank you much. Mr. Bowman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. You know, this is based on Florida statute that was written for farmers kind of in the West Coast, Hillsborough County, and the way they wrote it was based on large tracts of land. And me and other farmers in the Ag Reserve, we've had these housing there for generations, and they've been mine are on small tracts. They're on 5 and 6 acre tracts. So the 1.5% area makes me lose farm worker housing. And my request is that as we go through this process, we consider making that 3%, which is only 7,100 and change square feet of housing on a 5 acre tract. That would be what I'd like you to consider as we go through this process. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Sacks, you're recognized.
Are those all the cards on this?
Yes.
Mayor? I heartily agree with the last speaker. Hold on, you don't leave yet. Because that was done in Central Florida. And I think that the way that our farms are organized here and the way they are shrinking, we really do need to revisit that. So how can we do that at this point? Is it too late, or?
Would you like to make a motion to approve it with 3%?
Well, let me ask the farmer here.
I mean, there's a lot of different farmers out here, and we have different needs. My need is 3%, but there's some people with existing housing, and I hate to speak for other farmers that have their own issues, but maybe existing housing stays where it's at, and/or new housing at 3%. I mean, I'm not prepared to give that much direction at this first
Would we
meeting.
have any negative impact going to 3%, Lisa?
Hello, Lisa
Hi.
Mara with Cooperative Extension. The Agricultural Enhancement Council recommended that this item be brought to you for initiation. There is the 3%, which Mr. Bowman is speaking of. That's something specifically related to properties that are in agricultural development that have freestanding farms, and they have accessory structures for farm worker housing. However, there's an issue in the agricultural reserve, where in the agricultural reserve, as you spend so much time on, like today, in the ag reserve, if you want farm worker quarters and you're doing an ag reserve PUD, you have to hold back one house for every farm worker quarter. And that is one of the biggest challenges in the ag reserve that we're having. So that is part of the overall initiation we're looking for to have conversations on, not just the increasing from the statute 1.5% to 3%, but also to have a dialogue with staff and you later about, do we want to keep is a one house in a PUD equivalent to one farm worker quarter? And that's part of the kind of overall dialogue we want to work on.
Okay.
Thank you. So just to be clear, the reason that's an issue is because the housing falls to the TDRs. But if we're trying to help farmers survive in the ag reserve, then I think the conversation at the Ag Enhancement Council was, can we not apply, because farm worker housing is specific to working on farms, and it's not like the same standard, I guess, as a regular house. They have different standards to apply, if I remember this correctly. And so one of those questions that they were asking for is that specific to farm worker housing, that they have to be connected to the farm and working on those farms, not have to have TDRs. So that is what one of the questions out there were. And I will turn this over. I'm not sure whose light was on first, but we'll start with Commissioner Marino.
So quick question, development rights per property. If a property has no development rights at this time, then what happens?
They can't build farm worker housing.
If any of the ag reserve preserve areas, none of them have farm worker housing right now.
That wasn't the question. The question was, if they don't have development rights, if we've had plenty of opportunity for people to sell off their development rights. If there are no development rights on that parcel, are we now saying, yes, you can build farm worker housing, even though you might have already sold off your development rights?
That's what we're asking to look at with staff and bring back to you. This is just initiation to start doing that kind of work. There is groom's quarters allowed. Groom's quarters, and 20 groom's quarters you get for every house. But with farm worker quarters, you hold back a house and you only get one farm worker quarter. It's really weird, and we don't know why. There is a lot of farm worker quarters in the Thoroughbred Training Center on the north end, and they're in preserve area. But the farm worker quarters aren't allowed to be in preserve area right now. And that's one of the things we want to talk about.
If I may, there are different categories. So there are farm residents, in which you're a farmer and you're working on, you're living on your land that you're doing the agriculture. There's farm workers housing, which is the verifiable workers that's in the state statute. And there's also the quarters. So that's when we would like to meet and make sure these terms are not conflicting when we're doing these things, and investigate on, again, the very issue you're looking at, maybe uncoupling, as what Lisa is talking about, the density issue. So there's a lot more to be done. This is just the initiation part of it. If you want to give us direction to look at the 3% and some of the other things, we were more than happy to do that. But it is a little more
I just get nervous
complicated.
about setting a precedent
Yeah.
on property that has no development rights. That's my concern. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Woodward, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess my question is, which we're just initiating this, and then you're going to go work on it. I'm assuming pretty much any farm that's operating in the ag reserve probably does not have development rights, or because we have preserve. Farm is a use on a preserved parcel. So for this, I mean, I'm in support of moving this forward to build it out, because you said groom's quarters. I would think farm worker quarters are going to be pretty similar in what it is. So I would be very supportive of this. And again, to make sure that it's not just building multifamily housing that's going to become, it needs to be tied to the farm. So as long as that's part of this conversation, I'm very much in support of you beginning to work on it, and the percentages and all of that. I mean, that'll get baked in as you go. But again, most of the preserve areas, I would like all of the preserve areas to be farming. So then maybe this could actually help that a little bit. So I'm in support of this. Thank you.
Commissioner Sachs, you're recognized.
Did you want to say something, Ms.
Just
Amara?
one thing, because of the Florida statute, property owners right now, the statute, and Darren can correct me if I'm wrong, but says that local governments can't enforce or adopt regulations that stop stop farms from putting in farm worker quarters on up to 1.5% of the property for which they're farming. So even though there's groom's quarters on, Sunshine Meadows too. There's groom's quarters on Sunshine Meadows and on Thoroughbred, the new legislation that was just approved allows up to 1.5% of ag class property to be used for farm worker quarters. And no one has brought that to the county yet to say, hey, those density restrictions and that one-to-one with the TDR is eclipsed by that language. No one has approached that yet, but it is in question whether or not that stands for the existing ag class properties already. But what we're seeing in the ag reserve is that the farm workers are being imported to work from, if they're H-2A visa style farm workers, they're coming in from the EAA, where there's farm worker quarters out there. With the immigration crackdown, it's a huge problem for some of our big-time farmers. Mr. Bowman, the Bedners, the Aldermans, farm worker, getting them is like really, really difficult right now. And a lot of the type of vegetables, and Mr. Bowman could explain more than me, but they have to be hand picked, like lettuces and romaine, and I don't know about tomatoes and peppers.
So there's two types of farm worker housing. There's the farm worker housing for the people that live here that are on our payroll all year long. And then you've got the H-2A or barrack style farm worker housing. So they're a little different in the two. So there's farmers out there that are wanting to, because me personally, my workers are in Okeechobee and in Belle Glade. They have to drive an hour and a half, an hour and 20 minutes to and from work every day on a bus. That's pretty tough on them. I would like to get them closer to the farm. And there's other people in the ag reserve. I know Lionel Gray at Gray's, one of the largest nurseries out there. He's wanting this to help with his situation with his workers, because I've been in meetings with him. And like you mentioned, Mr. Alderman, there's others. They're just not here today. That'll probably bring their voice to the podium at a future day. But so, any questions? I don't know.
No. Commissioner Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And this is an initiation, and I think Lisa Amara referenced legislation that, of course, was added to and passed last year. I think it's Senate Bill 84, that goes into different levels of farm worker housing and what's required and the requirement. I was in the legislature when we passed legislation that required a number of pieces in documentation for anyone who is a migrant worker or farm worker. I think, and when that legislation passed, a number of individuals who work farms here in the state of Florida and work construction sites stopped coming to work. I was concerned that, you know, this, by allowing this with the Ag Enhancement Council, may open up the door for ICE agent raids. But specifically within this legislation, it talks about farm workers must be documented. There's a number of provisions within the legislation that caveat that I am comfortable making sure that if we approve this as an initiation, we initiate this, this will not be a place where ICE will start going to farms in Palm Beach County and start raiding farm worker housing. So I think it's a good idea.
And if I may, the penalty for the landowner are severe in that legislation if you break the rules and don't have farm workers there and you're using them for something else.
And also said, thank you for that, Mr. Bowman. It's a 6-page bill, but also indicates in here if the housing that's constructed as farm worker housing ceases to operate as farm worker housing, there's a number of days before, I think it's 100, I'm not going to say it, I lost my spot, but within a number of days, it would have to be removed if it ceases to operate as farm. So I'm in support.
Okay.
So I will entertain a motion to initiate this, allowing up to, and it will come back to us with the 3% and not having it fall under the TDRs and not, and that actually reminded me, Commissioner Powell, so I had a question for Lisa. Where they have to shut it down right away, if people are making, or farmers are making investments in building the housing, how does that work? What did that timeline look like?
I think it's either 180 or 365 days if farm worker housing, by the statute way, if it's vacant, then it has to be torn down or something. But that could be a minimum. What we had already initiated with the board a year or so ago was for the EAA, and we were looking at farm worker housing as a principal use, not on agricultural land, just to allow it consistent with the density and more of the urban areas and to allow barrack style. That's already initiated and that's already underway. But we wouldn't probably, if we're making a principal use, we're not talking about principal use with this item initiated today. But out in the EAA, if we made it a principal use, we probably wouldn't require it to be knocked down depending on where it is. And I know the interest in the EAA was to site them in the urban areas where the density is probably already HRE anyway.
Lisa, I love that you are so knowledgeable, but you did answer it. Thank you so much.
Madam Mayor.
Yes.
And it is, she's correct, it's 180 days. If the permit that's authorized by the Department of Health for housing on this site is revoked and any structure that's there must be removed within 180 days. So that's.
Commissioner Sachs, if you'd like to make the motion.
Yeah, thank you very much. I want to thank Lisa, and I know our loss is their gain, and I want to commend Mr. Bowman and your family for all you do, and I want to make sure that, I know Pat O'Brien, I want to mention his name as well, is having a lot of issues with getting farm workers, and as well as Lionel Gray. So I would like to move at this time, and I just want to mention that it does state in here, and this is to Commissioner Powell's issue, and I absolutely agree with you, that these are legally verified agricultural workers. So there shouldn't be any issues with our friends from ICE making a visit. So with that and permission, I would like to move that we initiate a comprehensive plan, takes amendment.
Up to the 3%.
Up to 3%.
And,
and work
and
with.
exempt from, the TDRs.
Yes.
And bring it back to us. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a second by Commissioner Weiss. All in favor? Any opposed? Please see how that motion carries 7-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
On to item number 12.
That was.
Oh, that was moved into consent, wasn't it? Okay, I believe. Where? Does any commissioner have direction that they need to give? Vice Mayor Woodward, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just wanted to know, Mr. Rudder, I know you were getting us some numbers, what I had asked about the gas tax. Were you able to get any of that?
I sent you all a quick email the other night, 12 cents, is total of 60 cents per gallon collected. I think it was 12 and a half cents is county local option as far as the dollar breakdown, more so the provisions for how one might suspend it. Digging a little bit deeper, read something that doesn't quite answer what we would look to do potentially on a preliminary basis. Still working with OFMB on that.
Okay, so I wanted to thank you for that, because I know some of what's been done in other areas, it's not necessarily a full amount pause. Some have done like a 25% pause of the gas taxes, and I just wanted to make sure that that was still being looked at
No,
as a potential.
Tried to dig a little bit deeper. The stuff we found right off the bat, you have to do it on an annual basis, and it talks about full suspension of it, but I know there are other ways, and that's what we're trying to get to the bottom of.
Yeah, not a full suspension. This would be
Understand.
like a very temporary suspension. Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I don't know what part of staff should take a look at this. It's come to my attention that as we continue to look into affordable housing units, there are potentially, and if staff could do the research or I can dig a little bit deeper, some developers who we've provided with assistance through county funds to meet the criteria for individuals to qualify for housing may be charging for things that are essentials or non-essentials, necessities that wouldn't be considered amenities, such as charging somebody for parking spaces in order to live in a development, or charging for cable, even if they don't need cable, so that they are able to be gain a profit or an additional profit in those units that may be considered affordable. So if we could have staff potentially look into this a bit further, I can even do a little bit more research and get more information. But I did want to put that on the record today because it's come to my attention. And if that is the case, that is much more of a challenge for us as we continue to look at housing opportunities for people living in Palm Beach County.
Commissioner, we could do that. We did modify the code a couple years ago through the evolution of it. Internet fees. There have been some other fees that have been involved that are baked into leases. Let us get you that information and share with you what is not included in a lease that rolls to our costs, and share with you some of the information we're hearing as well.
Thank you, Patrick.
Whitney, you're recognized.
Thank you. Just to clarify, that those code changes that we made were specific to the workforce housing program. So are you referring to actual affordable housing, less than 60% AMI, or are you referring to those units that might be in the workforce housing program, or do you want us to look at both?
I was thinking about both, actually, Whitney, because if we have allotted funds for someone to develop workforce or affordable units, and they've developed those units using county funds, but now on the back end, they're indicating that you have to pay an additional $50 a month or $100 a month for your parking space. In order to have a parking space, that tax on to the $1,800 or $1,700 that you're paying, which at that point may make the unit unaffordable. So if someone could look into that, and we can discuss this further, I just wanted to make sure I put it on the record today to start digging a little bit into that particular area.
Okay, we'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to do commissioner comments from, well, let's go staff first. Any comments, Pat? Whitney? Darren? Okay, left to right. Commissioner Sachs, we'll start with you.
Thank you so much. When I'd like to have a staff direction that when the board approves an application for development and the applicant goes to staff to ask for changes, that we are notified. Because sometimes I'm finding specific instances where we've approved something in the past, and then the applicant will come by and talk to staff and make changes. And those changes were done by staff, and I appreciate that, but we were not notified, and nor was the board notified that these changes were being made. So how long will you be able to do that pretty soon?
Yes.
I guess I'm looking at Whitney, yes.
So there are certain thresholds that the board approves an item, and then the developer or the agent can come back in and ask for certain administrative approvals, which are below a certain threshold. So if they increase the area or the project by more than 30% or something like that, it would have to come back to the board. Or there's other thresholds that would be eligible for that. But sometimes too, they can approve a use and then it could be under industrial, but then they can come in and they can change it out to something else that's permissible within the land use, but it's an administrative approval, so it doesn't have to come back to the board. So are you saying that you want anything that ever is approved as a board approval that is administrative, that it has to be given to the board or shown, kind of conveyed to the board that they've come in for an administrative action?
I think it's important that I've had instances where we've approved things and then they've come back and they're asking for more parking spaces, which would increase their density, and I didn't know anything about it. So why can't you just, through the emails, just send us out issues where the applicants have come in and asked for changes? I don't know if it's 30%, but I mean, if they're asking for whether they could have a certain kind of tree and not another kind of tree, use your judgment. But if it's for changes in density, changes in parking spaces, things like that, changes in uses, I think it's important that we know, because it's important that we know, because we reviewed it initially, and this way we keep an eye on everything as well and help you all out as part of our team. I'd appreciate that. If I could start pretty soon, maybe April 1st, that'd be good.
Yeah, we do provide, at least for planning anyway, the things that come in for sufficiency review. So, but I know it's harder for Wendy because there are certain things that are administrative that's allowed by code. So
I don't know if more parking spaces is administrative, so why don't you just use our technology to push that button? Somebody comes in for a waiver or something, that change conditions that they want, just push that button, let us all know so that we can review it. And it's also part of public record.
Commissioner Sachs, Commissioner Floor has a comment as well.
Sort of piggybacking onto Commissioner Sachs' comments, I am a fan of being notified when there is an application in my district. And the reason that is so that I can engage early on and provide feedback before it gets to us. Because usually when it gets to us, it has gone through all of the process, and having changes be done at the 11th hour costs the developer money. So I'd rather be in the early part, at least notified, and we have received a couple already. However, with that notification, it was the map of the county and an arrow that went like this, and I had no idea where that arrow pointed to. So it would be nice to get a more detailed, site overview of where the applicant is applying, but I would prefer to continue to get that process, and that's just a notification. So I don't know if our system allows, when an application goes in, they selected the district and it shoots out a generic email saying, hey, there's an application that's being put in your district. That way I can start engaging with the applicant and provide feedback before, because once it gets here, they've already made all the investment in site plan and engineers and all of that stuff. For us to now ask for changes, it's too late. So that's why I'm just adding that.
we have the PCN and the address on our matrix. We do it right after we have deemed it sufficient, right after intake. So you probably received one or two last week from me. So we'll continue doing that as well, with all the maps and all of their applications.
The map should be a little bit more detailed.
And we might reach out to your staff too to make sure, because I know Wendy also sent out sufficiency notifications last week, and I looked at the matrix that Wendy sent, and it shows the proximity of the project as well as the district. So that should give an indication of, this is a project in your district. That's what we'd also wanted to train your staff to be able to plug that in and see where it is in your district.
Okay.
So that it could help, help them understand the project process
Yeah.
as well, and then.
Because that map of the entire county with an arrow going like this.
I don't know what map you're talking about.
I'd be happy to show you. I got
but
two
we'll
sitting on my desk right now.
Figure it out.
It's just.
It's confusing.
It's.
It is, it's confusing. And I wonder if maybe, do you need technology to help us out, help you
Yeah.
guys out to?
No, we're working on technology. We're working on technology, but in the meantime, I'm not sure the map you're talking about, but we'll fix it.
Okay, and you could also send us differences, or, what I just discussed before. Would that come out by April 1st? So all of us?
Well,
No?
it's all relevant to when we take in projects. So I don't know if we have an intake next week, but.
No,
if we-
I'm talking about changes.
Right.
We all agree to a particular plan, and then next thing you know, your neighbors or your residents are telling you, did you know that they just got this and this and this? And we don't know, and I think we all want to know. So do you have a way to inform the commissioners of changes that have been requested, not necessarily approved, but requested by your staff that's occurring in our districts?
Yes, we can
Good.
do that. We can do
Okay.
that. And I'm
Excellent.
not sure about the April 1st date, because when changes do come into the zoning division, they come in on a specific day. So they don't just kind of come in here and there, but when they come in on intake, then we're able, if we deem them sufficient, then we can send them your way so that you know what came in. Administratively, because I think the only thing we've been sending you are public hearing applications, but we can start sending administrative applications as well, if that's what you're asking.
God, yeah, changes, that people have come in. Thank you.
Can I interject?
Yes.
I want to interject immediately, and not to knock what my colleagues want. With regard to administrative applications, be mindful and advised that a lot of applications come in that are administrative. As somebody who has been a project manager myself, when we would sit around and do our meetings for our office and go through the calendar alone, and I would find out what everyone else was working on just in the county. I was interested in mainly my projects, but if we're talking about administrative applications, and this may be a deeper conversation that you may want to have with Whitney, because I do not want you all to send me every administrative application. I don't have the capacity to even respond to all the emails I get. We're talking about a lot of work. We're talking about everything that goes to PPRC. We're talking, let's have a deeper conversation, maybe workshop it, but I will tell you from experience that I'm not interested in, and if everybody else is, that is for everyone else. Please, for me specifically, do not send me administrative applications. If they're controversial, potentially send them to me. I can, and I know how to look them all up anyways, but please, just for my sake, don't send me administrative applications. We need to have a deeper conversation, because I'm not sure if y'all are aware of the amount of applications that do come into the county that would now start coming to you. And with the number of emails that we're doing and the public appearances and the meetings that we have in our office and the other meetings, I don't have the capacity, nor does my staff have the capacity to take on that type of project. So I just want to make sure we are aware exactly what we're asking for when we're looking for administrative applications from all of the different entities that submit to the county. So I'm putting that on the record for me specifically. Everybody else, you can send them to them, but don't send them to me. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Powell. Commissioner Weiss, you're recognized.
Thank you. Just to follow on the last conversation, yeah, you don't need to send me administrative applications. My mailbox is full. I want to take a moment though I want to thank staff. This last Saturday or Friday, actually it started, we got notified of a large event being planned being held in a property that was listed on one of those vacation rental sites, a large parcel in the Pioneer Road community. It was, I mean, a big event, and the neighborhood found out about it, got a copy of the listing, and they sent it to us. We sent it over, worked with PBSO, worked with Code, worked with PZB. Cindy Hoskins was amazing. And through that afternoon, it got shut down. But lo and behold, 6 o'clock on Saturday, I got a message on my phone from a homeowner in that neighborhood that another event at the same location by the same people was being held, and there were thousands of people. Cindy got to work on it on a Saturday night. We got PBS involved Saturday night, and it was shut down by about 10:30. But in the meantime, there were literally hundreds of cars that have been parked in a residential neighborhood. They said there was over 1,000 people at this event. I can't tell you, dozens of deputies had to be called out to help shut this thing down. And we advised both the property owner and the people trying to hold this event. They knew it was against code. They knew it wasn't allowed, but they went ahead and did it again on Saturday. Staff was absolutely awesome. I've talked to the county attorney. There's a possibility, understand they're going to try and fine the property owner the maximum amount that we can. But this was a money-making operation. They were selling alcohol. They were selling food. I mean, it was a full-on event being held. And, you know, no permits, no fire safety, nothing. I mean, there wasn't proper toilets or anything to put on an event like this. And I will tell you, the next day the neighborhood went out, there was garbage all over their roadways that they went out and cleaned up. It's unacceptable in any community. It's unacceptable in Palm Beach County. And I talked to the county attorney. They're going to see if they can pursue an injunction against these folks. But again, terrible situation, but well handled. And I know the neighborhood was very appreciative of staff's response and ability to get something done on a Saturday night. So I just really want to thank staff, but I also thought it was important to inform the board of what had happened.
Where is this located, Commissioner?
It was in our Pioneer Road community.
Okay, Commissioner Flores, any comments? Vice Mayor Woodward?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just because we won't be back before, I'd like to wish everyone a happy Passover and a happy Easter.
Commissioner Powell?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to request an off-site approval for a proclamation declaring March 31st, 2026 as Mrs. Helen Jones Height's 100th birthday.
I have a motion by Commissioner Powell. Do I have a second? Second. I have a second, third, fourth, and fifth, but we'll give it to Commissioner Flores. All in favor? Any opposed? Please see that the motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Yep. Anything else, Commissioner? Commissioner Marino.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I'd like to say thank you for all you voting on the consent agenda for the minor construction of the improvements to a house on Donald Ross Road, because that is going to be a location of a fire station. And it's been a heavy lift, and we've been working on this for 5 years or so. So I just wanted to say thank you about that. Second, you know, how we're continuing the doggy day out. And this is for those that are watching. I hope there's folks watching at home, but this is Trixie. And here's the sad commentary, and then I'll give you some happy commentary. There are currently 120 dogs available for adoption out of 169 dogs that are at the shelter, and there's only 144 kennels. So these are some really tough statistics. So this is Trixie, our latest doggie. we took her to lunch today, and no one even knew she was with us. She's calm, she's cool, she's collected. She's 8 years old.
Alicia, if you can walk a little further that way, we'll be able to see her better.
She waddles.
Keep going. Keep going. Perfect. There she is.
So I'll read the stuff that makes you fun. This is at 8 years old, Trixie is a stunning black beauty who carries herself with grace, gentleness, and a quiet sweetness that draws you in instantly. She leans in for kisses, melts into every cuddle. She's been asleep most of the day. She walks gracefully by your side, and she actually, in the playgroups, plays well with other dogs. She wasn't chosen by chance today. She was chosen with forethought because her owner, this is where it's a sad story, her owner was reunited with her owner in 2023, only to be brought back in the beginning of this month for humane euthanasia. The reasons, according to her past owner, who surrendered her, were the mast cell tumors, which if you look at her, you can see little spots. These are not anything that are life-threatening. She does have a little bit of hypothyroidism that's manageable with medication. That's all the information we know. The owner left her, and that was it. So that's why all these moments matter. And right now, we don't want this to be one of Trixie's last days here on Earth. So if there is anybody out there listening or anyone in the building that wants to take Trixie home and give her a forever home, and we're not sure Trixie is her name because whenever we say Trixie, she just ignores us. So you get to rename her whatever you like and train her with that. But become her hero and take her home. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I will go last. I just want to say thank you, staff. Thank you, everyone, for all your hard work and dedication. Tell everyone a happy Easter, happy Passover, and enjoy. With that, we're adjourned.